The glitter of diamonds has always reminded me of tears, fitting since both can cut deep enough to leave permanent scars. I learned that lesson watching Liam whisper to his mother across the crowded charity gala, their faces illuminated by the crystal chandeliers of the Drake Hotel ballroom. My name is Sophia, and until tonight, I thought I knew what love looked like. They're planning something, Emily muttered beside me, her champagne glass tilting dangerously as she gestured toward them. I've seen that look on Evelyn's face before. It's the same one she had right before Morgan Gems swooped in and stole the Cartwright account. You're being paranoid. I adjusted the vintage sapphire pendant at my throat, a Hart family heirloom that had survived 3 generations of jewelers. Liam wouldn't do that to me, to us. Really? Then why hasn't he mentioned you once in his speech about future business ventures tonight? The truth in her words stung, but I pushed it aside. He's just being professional. Professional doesn't explain why your fiancé is huddled in a corner with his mother instead of standing next to you at your own charity event. I watched as Evelyn's manicured hand gripped Liam's arm, her red lips moving rapidly. His shoulders tensed, but he nodded. Whatever she was saying, he wasn't fighting it. Sophia! Derek appeared at my elbow, his designer suit slightly rumpled from working late at the studio again. The Ashworth collection specs just came in. We need to talk. Not now, I said, my eyes still fixed on Liam. Can't it wait until tomorrow? It's about the stones Morgan Gems supplied for the collaboration. Something's off. That got my attention. What do you mean, off? The clarity ratings, they don't match what was promised. I've checked 3 times. Emily's "I told you so" was written all over her face, but she stayed quiet. Smart woman. Across the room, Liam finally broke away from his mother and started walking toward us. His smile was perfect, practiced, the same one he used to close million-dollar deals. There's my beautiful fiancé, he said, sliding an arm around my waist. Mother's thrilled about the merger announcement next week. She thinks it'll revolutionize both our businesses. Merger? The word felt like acid on my tongue. What merger? His grip tightened slightly. Didn't I mention it? Just a little surprise I've been working on. Hart Jewels and Morgan Gems joining forces. Think of the possibilities. Derek's face darkened. Funny timing, considering what I just found about those stones. What stones? Liam's voice remained smooth, but something flickered in his eyes. The ones your company supplied for the Ashworth collection, I said, studying his reaction. Apparently, there are some discrepancies. Must be a mistake. He waved it off with his free hand. I'll have Olivia look into it first thing Monday. Or we could discuss it now, Derek pressed. Now isn't the time. Liam's smile never wavered, but ice crept into his tone. We're celebrating, remember? Emily cleared her throat. Celebrating what exactly? The merger none of us knew about until 30 seconds ago? Before Liam could respond, Evelyn materialized beside us, her diamond necklace catching the light like a noose of stars. Darling, the reporters are waiting. Shall we make the announcement now? My heart stopped. What announcement? The merger, of course. Evelyn's smile was razor sharp. Liam's been working so hard on this surprise for you. Morgan Hart Jewels has such a lovely ring to it, don't you think? The room spun slightly. Morgan Hart, not Hart Morgan. Such a small detail, but it said everything. Excuse me, I managed, pulling away from Liam's grip. I need some air. As I walked away, I heard Evelyn's voice, soft but clear. Don't worry, dear. She'll come around once she understands it's for the best. I pushed through the ballroom doors, my grandmother's sapphire suddenly heavy against my throat. They'd planned this all along, the collaboration, the engagement, everything, and I'd fallen for it, sparkly ring and all. Well, they were about to learn something about the Hart family that Liam should have remembered. Diamonds aren't the only things that can cut. The loop trembled in my hand as I examined the diamond under harsh LED light. 3 days after the gala, and the betrayal still burned fresh. Derek hovered nearby, his reflection distorted in the jeweler's glass case between us. The inclusions are obvious, I said, setting down the loop. These aren't the grade Morgan gems promised. They've been doing this systematically. Derek spread out a series of certification papers across the counter. I checked our last 3 shipments. All of them are at least 2 grades below what we paid for. I traced my finger along the document's edge. And the Ashworth collection launches in 2 weeks. We can't use these stones, Sophia. It'll destroy our reputation. The shop bell chimed. Liam strode in, all perfect suit and practiced charm. There's my favorite family of jewelers. How's the collection coming along? Derek's jaw tightened, but I placed a warning hand on his arm. We need to talk about the stones. Already? I told you Olivia would handle it Monday. Liam reached for me, but I stepped back. It's Wednesday. His smile flickered. Is it? Sorry, darling. Been caught up in merger preparations. Speaking of which, Mother wants us over for dinner tonight to discuss the announcement details. I'm busy tonight, I said, gesturing at the papers. These certification discrepancies need my attention. Come on, Soph. It's just dinner. Family getting to know family. They're not family yet. Derek's voice could have frozen hell. The shop door chimed again. Emily burst in, waving her tablet. Sophia, we have a problem. Morgan Gems just announced a new signature collection. Launch date, same day as Ashworth. My stomach dropped. What? Their Instagram post went live 10 minutes ago. Same market segment, same price point. They're going to split our customer base. Liam's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then quickly tucked it away. Mother likes to be competitive. I'm sure we can work something out. Competitive? Emily laughed sharply. Is that what we're calling corporate sabotage now? That's a serious accusation. Liam's voice hardened. One you might want to reconsider. Or what? Derek stepped forward. You'll tell Mommy dearest? Stop it, both of you. I moved between them. Liam, either you didn't know about this, in which case you're incompetent, or you did, which makes you complicit. Neither option looks good for our engagement. Pain flashed across his face. Sophia, please, everything I've done has been for us, for our future. Our future? I grabbed the certification papers and thrust them at him. Look at these. Really look. Your company has been systematically undermining mine while pretending to support us. How is that building our future? He barely glanced at the documents. There must be a mistake. The only mistake was trusting you. The words tasted like ash. Get out. Don't do this. He reached for my hand. We can fix this. Together. The merger is off. I twisted away, yanking the engagement ring from my finger, and so is the wedding. The diamond caught the light as I set it on the counter between us. 3 carats of perfect clarity, unlike everything else about our relationship. You're making a mistake, he said quietly. Mother won't take this well. Is that a threat? A warning from someone who loves you, Emily snorted. Love doesn't usually come with sabotage. Liam's mask finally cracked. You have no idea what you're dealing with. Any of you. He backed toward the door. When this all falls apart, remember, I tried to protect you. The bell chimed one final time as he left. Silence filled the shop, heavy with unspoken fears. Derek broke it first. We need to pull the Ashworth collection. Start over. We can't. I pressed my palms against the cool glass counter. We've invested everything in this launch. The publicity's already rolling. If we cancel now, then we don't cancel. Emily's eyes gleamed. We fight back. I've been doing some digging on Morgan Gem's supply chain. There are irregularities. What kind of irregularities? The kind that could ruin them if they became public. She paused. But we'd need proof, hard evidence. I looked at the empty spot where my engagement ring had sat, then at the certification papers documenting Morgan Gem's deception. Then that's what we'll get. They want to play dirty? Fine. But they're about to learn that hearts aren't just pretty stones in their collection. Derek's smile was sharp. Where do we start? With Olivia, I said. She knows everything that happens in that company, and everyone has a price. The game was changing. Liam wanted to talk about protection. He should have thought about who needed protecting from whom. The Morgan Gems headquarters loomed above me, all glass and steel reaching toward a gray Chicago sky. I adjusted my blazer, feeling the weight of the hidden recording device Emily had insisted I wear. Olivia was waiting in the lobby, her perfect posture and pressed suit a reflection of Morgan Gem's polished facade. Miss Hart, what a surprise! I think we both know it's not. I matched her practiced smile. We need to talk about the Ashworth collection. She led me to a conference room overlooking the river. Liam mentioned you were having concerns. Concerns? I pulled out the certification papers. Your company supplied us with inferior stones while preparing to launch a competing collection. That's not a concern, it's fraud. Those are serious allegations. Her fingers drummed once on the table. Do you have proof? You're looking at it. Paperwork can be misleading. She studied me with sharp eyes, just like appearances. The door opened. Liam walked in, followed by Evelyn. My stomach clenched. Sophia, darling. Evelyn's voice dripped honey. How fortunate. We were just discussing the merger announcement. There won't be a merger. I stood gathering my papers. Or a wedding. Don't be hasty. Liam moved to block the door. Mother has a proposition. The last proposition from your family nearly destroyed mine. Evelyn's laugh was soft. Oh, sweetheart, that wasn't destruction. That was foreplay. She pulled out her phone, sliding it across the table. On the screen was a document, the deed to Hart Jewels building, our lease agreement. Your grandfather was a sentimental man, Evelyn said. He should have read the fine print when he signed that 99-year lease. The building's owner can terminate it with 6 months' notice if they plan to demolish. The room tilted. You bought our building. 3 months ago. Liam wouldn't meet my eyes. It's nothing personal. Nothing personal? My laugh sounded strange, even to me. You're trying to destroy my family's legacy. We're trying to save it. Evelyn stood smoothing her skirt. Morgan Hart Jewels could be magnificent. Your talent, our resources, the alternative. She shrugged. Well, commercial rent in Chicago is prohibitive these days. You're blackmailing me. I prefer to call it aggressive negotiation. She smiled. You have 24 hours to reconsider the merger. After that, we start demolition paperwork. And if I go public with the certification fraud? Darling, Liam said softly. Who do you think controls the certification board? My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Got it. Check your email. I forced my hands to stay steady as I pulled out my phone. There it was, forwarded from Olivia's private account to mine. Every email documenting Morgan Gem's systematic fraud, including Evelyn's explicit instructions to falsify certifications. Interesting timing, I said, watching Olivia's face. Your manager seems to have had an attack of conscience. Evelyn's head snapped toward Olivia, who had gone pale. What did you do? What you taught me. Olivia stood straighter. Look out for myself. You stupid. Evelyn lunged for my phone. I stepped back, hitting forward on the email chain. Too late, it's already gone to every major jewelry publication and trade authority. Should hit the news cycle in about now. Liam's phone started ringing, then Evelyn's, then the conference room phone. You've ruined everything, Liam whispered. No, I met his eyes. I protected what matters, something you should have thought about before trying to destroy my family. This isn't over, Evelyn snarled, already dialing numbers. I'll bury you. With what? Olivia's voice was steady. I sent everything, Evelyn. Everything. I walked to the door, pausing beside Liam. You know what the difference is between our families? Harts protect their own. Morgan's just consumed them. The elevator ride down was silent. Outside, Olivia caught my arm. They'll come after you, I said. She nodded. I know, but 15 years of watching them destroy people. I couldn't do it anymore. Why help us? Because you still have something worth saving. She smiled sadly. Take them down, Sophia. All the way down. I watched her walk away, then pulled out my phone. Derek, start the contingency plan and call our lawyers. We're going to need them. The game had changed. Evelyn wanted war? Fine. But she'd forgotten something crucial. Before diamonds are beautiful, they're forged under pressure, and I was just getting started. The media storm hit harder than I expected. 3 days after the emails leaked, reporters camped outside Hart Jewels like vultures, while Morgan Gem's stock price plummeted. I should have felt victorious. Instead, watching the morning news, I felt hollow. Morgan Gems faces multiple investigations, the anchor announced. Sources say federal authorities are... The TV clicked off. Derek stood in the doorway of my office, holding 2 coffee cups. You need to see this. He handed me his phone. On the screen was a cease and desist letter from Morgan Gem's lawyers, threatening legal action over our upcoming collection. They're claiming patent infringement, he said, on cutting techniques we developed years ago. That's impossible. I scrolled through the document. These patents are dated last month. They've been planning this longer than we thought. Derek's knuckles whitened around his cup. There's more. The certification board is launching an investigation into us. The coffee turned bitter in my mouth. What? Anonymous tips suggesting we've been falsifying our own certificates. They're auditing every stone we've sold in the last 5 years. A sharp knock interrupted us. Emily burst in, face flushed. Olivia's gone. What do you mean, gone? Missing. Her apartment's empty, phone disconnected. The emails from her account? Emily swallowed hard. They're being questioned as possible forgeries. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. It was a trap. Sophia. They knew. I stood, pacing. They knew Olivia would turn. They wanted those emails leaked. But the stock price is temporary, but an investigation into us? My laugh sounded hysterical. That could destroy us permanently. My phone buzzed. Liam's number. After 3 rings, I answered on speaker. Quite a mess you've made, he said softly. Where's Olivia? Safe, considering her options. Mother can be very persuasive when discussing loyalty. Derek lunged for the phone, but I held up a hand. What do you want, Liam? The same thing I've always wanted. You, the merger, everything back on track. In exchange for what? Olivia returns, recants her statement. The certification board finds nothing amiss with either company. The patents become a non-issue. And if I refuse, then the investigation continues. Every stone, every certificate, every transaction scrutinized. How long do you think Hart Jewels can survive that kind of attention? Emily was already typing furiously on her tablet, but I knew what she'd find. Nothing. The Morgans were too good at covering their tracks. You have until tomorrow morning, Liam continued. Oh, and Sophia, wear the ring to the announcement. Mother insists. The line went dead. We can fight this, Derek said, but his voice lacked conviction. Can we? I moved to the window, watching the reporters below. They've orchestrated everything, the emails, Olivia, the investigation. We played right into their hands. So we give up? Emily demanded. Let them win? I touched the glass, my reflection overlaying the scene below. In it, I saw my grandmother's determination, my father's pride, 3 generations of hearts who'd built something beautiful. No, I said quietly. We changed the game. How? I turned back to them. They want a merger? Fine. Let's give them one they'll never forget. Sophia, you can't. I can, and I will. I picked up my phone. But first, we need to find Olivia. The real Olivia, not whatever story they've crafted. And then we show them why you should never back a heart into a corner. I started dialing. Emily, call our lawyers. Derek, get me everything you have on those patents. Every sketch, every date, every witness. What are you planning? I thought of Evelyn's smug smile, Liam's soft manipulation, the way they'd tried to dismantle my family's legacy piece by piece. They want to play with fire? I met their worried gazes. Let's show them how it feels to get burned. The reporters outside kept shooting photos, unaware that the real story was just beginning. The Morgans thought they'd won, thought they'd broken me. They were about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous moment isn't when someone has nothing left to lose. It's when they have everything to protect. The Lake Forest mansion loomed before me, its windows gleaming like predatory eyes in the sunset. I smoothed my dress, feeling the weight of the engagement ring I'd sworn never to wear again. Emily's words echoed in my head. You're walking into the lion's den. Marcus Morgan himself opened the door. Sophia, we've missed you at family dinner. The foyer smelled of leather and money. Photos lined the walls. The happy Morgan family through the years. Liam as a child, Evelyn's perfect smile, Marcus's proud stance, all carefully curated lies. Where is she? I kept my voice steady. Who? Marcus guided me toward his study. Oh, you mean Olivia? Such a shame about her. Emotional breakdown. The study door opened to reveal Evelyn and Liam, posed like actors in a play. Between them sat Olivia, hands clasped tightly in her lap. Tell her, Evelyn commanded softly. Olivia wouldn't meet my eyes. I fabricated those emails. The stress. I wasn't thinking clearly. Interesting. I pulled out my phone, playing a recording. Olivia's voice filled the room. They made me do it. The Morgans, they've been falsifying certificates for years. Evelyn's smile never wavered. Easily explained. Part of her breakdown. We have documentation. From the same certification board you control? I turned to Olivia. Tell them what you told me this morning about the offshore accounts, the bribes, That's enough. Marcus's hand clamped on my shoulder. You've made your point. Have I? I shrugged off his grip. Because I think I'm just getting started. Sophia, please. Liam stepped forward. We can still fix this, together. Fix what? The way you fixed those certificates? Or the way you fixed Olivia? You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I faced Evelyn. You thought you could break me, use Liam to get close, then dismantle everything my family built, but you made one mistake. And what's that, dear? My phone buzzed. Emily's signal, right on time. You taught me too well. I smiled. Check your phones. They did, watched as their carefully constructed world began to crumble. What is this? Marcus demanded. Everything, every falsified certificate, every bribed official, every shell company, currently being downloaded by every major news outlet and federal agency. Evelyn's mask finally cracked. You're bluffing. Am I? Ask Olivia, the real Olivia, the one who's been working with federal investigators for months, the one wearing a wire right now. The room exploded into chaos. Marcus lunged for Olivia. Liam grabbed my arm. But Evelyn just laughed. Stupid girl, she said softly. You think this changes anything? We own this industry. One scandal, two, we'll survive. But you? The merger contract you signed last week? The one giving us controlling interest in Hart Jewels? My blood froze. I never signed. Check the paperwork, dear. Your signature's quite convincing. Almost as convincing as your grandmother's was. All those years ago on that lease. The pieces clicked together. Years of manipulation, not just months. My grandmother's mysterious decision to lease instead of buy. The slow erosion of Hart Jewels' position in the market. You've been planning this for decades, I whispered. Of course we have. Evelyn stood, triumphant. The Harts were always so trusting, so easily led, just like you. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Those are federal agents, Olivia said, finally looking up. They've been waiting for my signal. Let them come. Evelyn's smile turned razor sharp. We have nothing to hide. But you, Sophia, you just admitted to corporate espionage, wire fraud. How long do you think Hart Jewels will last once you're indicted? The sirens grew louder. Liam's grip on my arm tightened. You have one chance, he whispered. Take the deal. Save what's left. I looked at him, really looked, saw the boy in those family photos, twisted by years of his parents' manipulation, saw what I could become if I gave in. You're right, I said to Evelyn. The Harts are trusting, but trust, like diamonds, has to be earned. The front door burst open. Footsteps thundered through the house. And you, I finished as agents flooded the room, never earned either. The game wasn't over. But for the first time, I understood the true price of revenge and whether I was willing to pay it. The federal investigation dragged on for weeks. I sat in my darkened office, staring at the latest headlines. Morgan Gems claims vindication, Hart Jewels under scrutiny. The irony burned worse than the scotch in my glass. Derek burst in without knocking. They're seizing our inventory. What? Federal agents? They're downstairs with a warrant. His voice cracked. All our stock, our records, everything. I reached the showroom in time to watch agents boxing up generations of Hart family craftsmanship. Emily stood frozen by the counter, clutching a stack of papers. The merger contract, she whispered as I approached. I've been over it a dozen times. The signature, it's perfect. Of course it is. Liam's voice made me flinch. He stood in the doorway, watching the agents work. Mother doesn't make mistakes. Get out. Can't. Official observer for Morgan Gems. He held up a badge. We need to ensure none of our compromised merchandise is mixed with yours. The rage I'd been suppressing finally boiled over. Compromised? You're the ones who... Careful. His smile was gentle, warning. Everything you say can be used against you, remember? An agent approached with more boxes. Miss Hart, we need access to your private vault. My grandmother's vault, where we kept our most precious pieces, including her sapphire pendant, the one thing I'd refused to wear since that night at the Morgans. You can't. They can, Liam said softly, unless you'd prefer to be charged with obstruction. My hands shook as I entered the combination. Inside lay 3 generations of Hart family treasures. The agent began packing them away with mechanical efficiency. The investigation's focusing on a pattern of fraudulent practices, Liam continued, his voice carrying just enough for nearby agents to hear. Going back decades, your grandmother's era even. You bastard! The words came out as a whisper. You're trying to destroy her legacy too? I tried to protect you. He stepped closer, speaking for my ears alone. Offered you a way out, but you chose war. Miss Hart? Another agent appeared. We need you to come with us. Some questions about certain offshore transactions. Emily moved to intervene, but I stopped her. Call our lawyers. They quit this morning, Derek said, along with half our suppliers. The walls seemed to close in. Everything we'd built, everything we'd protected, crumbling under the weight of the Morgans' perfect plan. Oh, Liam added as agents led me toward the door. Mother wanted you to know. She's keeping your grandmother's sapphire pendant, considers it partial payment for damages to Morgan Gem's reputation. I lunged for him. Derek caught me before I could make contact, but the damage was done. Agents converged, hands reaching for restraints. Add assault to the charges, Liam said calmly. Wait. Olivia appeared in the doorway, flanked by federal agents of her own. There's something you need to see. She held up her phone, playing a video. Evelyn Morgan's voice filled the room. Of course we forged the contracts, just like we did with old Lady Hart. That fool thought she was signing a lease renewal. The agents paused. Liam's composure cracked. That's inadmissible, he snapped. Illegally obtained. Actually, one of Olivia's agents cut in. It's part of an ongoing federal investigation, one that just got very interesting. Hope flickered, then died as I remembered the merger contract. It doesn't matter. They still own Hart Jewels. Check the date on that contract, Olivia said. Compare it to when I started wearing a wire. Every document, every conversation. We got it all. Liam's face went ash white. For the first time, I saw real fear in his eyes. But it wasn't enough. Not nearly enough. You can prove they forged it, I said quietly. But they've still destroyed us. Our reputation, our suppliers, our future. I looked around the ransacked showroom, at the empty cases that had once held generations of Hart family artistry. How do we come back from this? Derek gripped my shoulder. Together, like we always have. But as agents continued boxing up our lives, as Liam slipped away to warn his parents, as Emily frantically tried to reach any suppliers still willing to talk to us, I wondered if together would be enough this time. The Morgans hadn't just attacked our business. They'd tried to erase our entire legacy, and even if we proved our innocence, some stains never wash away, unless you cut them out completely. The Morgan Gem's annual gala buzzed with Chicago's elite, but I only had eyes for the display case at the center of the ballroom. Inside, my grandmother's sapphire pendant gleamed beneath spotlights, rebranded as part of Morgan Gem's Heritage Collection. Ready? Derek's voice crackled through my earpiece. I adjusted my evening gown, feeling the weight of the USB drive hidden in my clutch. Everything in position? Emily's got the video feed prepped. Olivia delivered the final documents. Just waiting on your signal. Evelyn Morgan spotted me first. Her champagne glass paused halfway to her lips, perfect smile freezing in place. Security? She murmured, but I was already moving toward the microphone stand. Ladies and gentlemen, my voice cut through the chamber music. I'd like to propose a toast. Liam emerged from the crowd, eyes warning. Sophia, don't. To family legacy. I raised my glass. And to the true cost of diamonds. The screens around the ballroom flickered to life. Evelyn's voice filled the room. The old woman practically gave us her company. One forged signature, and Hart Jewels was ours for the taking. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Marcus Morgan lunged for the AV controls, but Emily had locked them out. That's not all, I continued as security approached. Check your phones. You'll find some interesting documents about Morgan Gem's certification practices. Turns out those investment-grade diamonds you bought might need reappraisal. Enough! Evelyn's voice cracked like a whip. Security, remove her. Wait. Derek stepped forward, carrying a velvet-lined case. Don't you want to see our wedding present first? He opened the case. Inside lay a diamond that seemed to capture starlight itself. The crowd gravitated toward it, murmuring in awe. Impossible, Marcus whispered. That cutting pattern? It's not possible? Derek smiled. I've been developing it for years. While you were busy forging documents and stealing our legacy, we were actually innovating. The patents already filed, I added, along with evidence of every forged document, every falsified certificate, every corrupt deal you've made in the last 30 years. Liam reached for my arm. Please, we can still fix this. Fix what? I yanked away. The way you fixed my grandmother's signature, the way you fixed those certificates. I loved you. No, you loved what I represented, a way to legitimize your family's corruption. The ballroom had gone silent, phones lighting up as news alerts started flooding in. Morgan Gems's stock was already plummeting. You've destroyed us, Evelyn said quietly. No, I moved to the display case, removing my grandmother's pendant. You destroyed yourselves. I'm just bringing your empire down to match your ethics. Security, Marcus bellowed. Arrest her for theft. It's not theft. Olivia stepped forward, federal agents emerging behind her. The pendant's ownership was never legally transferred, unlike certain other transactions we've uncovered. The next few minutes dissolved into chaos, agents moving in, handcuffs clicking. Evelyn's perfect mask finally shattering as she was led away, screaming about family loyalty. Liam stood frozen, watching his world collapse. Why? He whispered. Why not just take the merger? You could have had everything. Because some things aren't for sale. I fastened my grandmother's pendant around my neck. Some legacies have to be earned. And some have to be protected, Derek added, closing the case containing his revolutionary diamond. The crowd parted as we walked out, phones recording every moment. Tomorrow the headlines would tell the story of Morgan Gem's fall, but they wouldn't tell the whole truth. They wouldn't tell how revenge, like diamonds, has many facets, how it can blind you with its brilliance or cut you with its edges, how sometimes the price of justice is letting go of who you thought you were to become who you need to be. Outside, Emily waited with our lawyers. The federal investigation into Hart Jewels has been officially closed, all charges dropped. And Morgan Gems won't survive the night, their stock's worthless, their reputation destroyed. Even their insurance company is backing away. I touched the sapphire at my throat, feeling its familiar weight. Good. Was it worth it? Liam's voice carried from the doorway, where agents waited to escort him away. I didn't turn around. Some reflections are better left unexamined. Ask me tomorrow, I said, and walked into the night, leaving the shattered remains of the Morgan Empire behind. The courtroom emptied slowly, murmurs echoing off marble walls as Chicago's elite digested the verdicts. Guilty down the line. The Morgan Empire dismantled piece by piece. I lingered, watching Evelyn's perfectly straight back as marshals led her away. She turned at the door, her mask finally cracking. You think this is victory? No. I touched my grandmother's sapphire. This is justice. Marcus followed without a word, but Liam paused beside me. I meant what I said, about loving you. I know, that's what makes it worse. He nodded once, understanding what I couldn't say. Sometimes love isn't enough to overcome who we choose to be. Outside, reporters swarmed like hungry birds. Emily appeared at my elbow, tablet in hand. The Morgan Gems liquidation is complete. Their client list. She hesitated. Some are asking about Hart Jewels. Let them ask. I watched Derek across the courthouse steps, showing something to Olivia on his phone, probably his latest designs. We have other priorities. The Federal Oversight Committee wants to meet about the certification process reforms. Good. I started down the steps, cameras flashing. It's time this industry had real transparency. Speaking of transparency, Emily's voice dropped. There's something you should know about your grandmother's lease. I stopped. What about it? Olivia found more documents. The night before she signed, there was a fire at Hart Jewels. Small, contained. But the insurance claim was denied, I finished, pieces clicking together, because Morgan Gems owned the insurance company. They didn't just pressure her, they orchestrated everything: the fire, the denial, the lease terms. Just like they tried with us. A reporter shoved forward. Miss Hart, how does it feel, destroying one of Chicago's oldest jewelry dynasties? I thought of Evelyn's face in that final moment, of Liam's gentle lies, of generations of manipulation hidden behind perfect smiles and flawless diamonds. The only thing destroyed, I said clearly, was the illusion. Diamonds aren't just beautiful, they're one of the hardest substances on earth. They survive pressure, heat, time itself, but they can also shatter if you find the right point of weakness. And Morgan Gem's weakness was thinking they were unbreakable. Derek joined us, Olivia beside him. The new collection's ready, he said. Whenever you are. I nodded, feeling the weight of what came next. Rebuilding wasn't just about Hart Jewels anymore. The entire industry needed change. Miss Hart, another reporter, any comment on rumors that you and Olivia orchestrated this from the beginning? That your engagement to Liam Morgan was part of a longer plan? Olivia stiffened beside me. Even Emily looked up sharply. Let them wonder. Some reflections are better left unclear, their facets catching different lights depending on who's looking. The truth, I said finally, is like a diamond. What matters isn't just how it looks, but how it's cut, how it handles pressure, what it reveals when held up to the light. We walked away from the courthouse, leaving the questions hanging. Behind us, Chicago's skyline gleamed like scattered gems against the sky. The board meeting's in an hour, Emily said. They'll want to know our next steps. Then let's show them. I touched the sapphire one last time, feeling its familiar weight. Not just a piece of jewelry anymore, but a reminder of what we'd lost, what we'd gained, what we'd become. Derek's phone chimed, another client wanting to see his revolutionary cuts. Olivia smiled, already strategizing market approaches. Emily pulled up spreadsheets, planning our industry reform proposals. And me? I thought of Evelyn's words in that Lake Forest mansion. The Harts were always so trusting. She wasn't wrong. Trust, like love, like revenge, can blind you, but it can also show you truths you might have missed about family, about legacy, about the fine line between justice and vengeance. The sapphire caught the light, scattering blue fire across my hands. Some said revenge was best served cold, but they forgot. The most beautiful diamonds were forged in heat, under pressure, in darkness, just like us. Ready? Derek asked. I looked at my reflection in the tower windows, saw not just myself, but all of us, the ones who'd survived, the ones who'd chosen truth over perfection, substance over shine. Yes, I said, I think I finally am.